prison shank. What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker Bushcraft. So today's project is a must do if you are a bushcrafter or into the bushcraft a little bit. You got to do this project. Number one, because it's fun, and number two, because you need one of these in your kit. And that is not a prison shank, like I said at the very beginning of this video. It is an awl. Now, being bushcrafters, we use a lot of traditional gear, so leather and canvas and oilcloth and all that good stuff. And sometimes we have to make repairs in the field, and then we also do a lot of projects in the field. And some of these things, when repairing or making, we need to be able to punch or drill holes, and that's where an awl comes into play. So it's very simple, it's very easy. So for this project, you're gonna need a couple things. Number one, you're gonna need your saw, and you're gonna need a knife. With your saw, then you're going to cut a branch. This can either be greenwood, which is live, or dead wood that you find. Just make sure if it's dead wood that it's not too rotted. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut this thing to length, like with your saw or your knife magically, and you're gonna create the handle for your awl. Now this thing can vary. It can be really long, that it's actually bigger than like your fist. It can be a little bit shorter. I found it like 3 fingers wide is perfect for the awl itself, because you do want it that you can put your palm on it and push in case you got to drive through leather or something like that. And then you're also going to need some type of twine or rope to lash the whole project together. And then finally, you're going to need one of these things, a nail. You're going to need a nail. Now you might be thinking, well, this is a bushcraft project, I don't know. You need to have nails with you. Just 1 or 2 in your kit, hide them away for when you need them. I use them in all different projects, from rope spinners to awls, tons of different stuff, and if you watched my channel for a while, you know that. I am using right here, this is an 1 3/4 drywall nail. I think these are the best multi-purpose nails for bushcraft around. So you buy a little box of them, or just go raid somebody's garage that you know has a lot of stuff laying around, and you'll be good to go. So what you're going to do with your handle is you're going to take your knife and you are going to split it right down the middle. So the couple different ways you can do this, I'm just going to baton it just like that, and then it is split nice and easy. Now once that's done, you're going to open up your piece and we're going to insert our nail. Okay, now a couple things with this. Number one is that you got to decide how much of your nail you want sticking out. For me, about 3/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch, okay, is going to be best. But you can go a lot less or a lot more. You just don't want to get the head of your nail too far out to the edge, because we don't want our awl to be really weak, okay? So you got to bury some of the nail into this. All right, now what you're noticing here, I can't make this just stay because there's a head on this nail, okay? So depending on the type of wood you pick, if you pick a very soft wood, sometimes you can literally take this and press the head into the wood. In my case, I can't do that, okay? So I'm not going to be able to put both sides on, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a gap like that. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take my knife now, and I'm going to carve, okay, somewhat of the shape of that nail. So I'm going to take where the head falls in place, which I could see because it's easily marked, and then I'm just going to take my knife, and all that I'm going to do is I'm going to carve some of this wood away right here, so half of that head can fit in there. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now what I'm looking for once I get my first side carved is I'm looking that when my nail is pressed here, okay, that it's laying flat against this piece of wood. Okay, so when I push it like this, the head is sunken in and the nail is laying flat against this piece of wood. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second side, I'm going to line it up the best I can, making sure my nail is straight out the top, and I'm going to give that a press. That should mark, which it did, right here, where the back side of this nail has to go in. So step one on this side is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a little cavity here to fit the head of that nail. All right, so my cavity on my second piece is created, but when I close this, what you're going to now notice is that there's still a gap here from the width of the nail. So what I'm going to do now is when I take this apart, okay, I'm going to now carve just a little bit of material out of this centerpiece so this fits nice and flush against that one, okay? So I'm just going to take my knife now and I'm going to just cut somewhat like a little V down here just to start to get some of this wood out so the nail can lay in there. Okay, so at this point now you can look from the side and the top view that we're getting very close to having this thing totally closed. And actually, if I squeeze this top section, I can totally close this, and then the back section has a little bit of a gap, which is absolutely fine because when we lash this, we can take care of this gap down in the back. So what I'm going to do now at this point is I'm going to start to lash this. So I want to start at the top because I want to make sure that this top section where my awl is sticking out is nice and tight. So what I'm going to be using for this, which I have videos on, is a straight lash. Okay, we want to make this straight lash good and tight on our awl. So I'm going to just take my time here and I'm going to lash this. So straight lash 1 is in place, and if you look at the top of that, it's really nice and tight. My awl point is in there. Now when we come back here, this has a little bit of a gap, but this is a nice strong lash. So when I tighten up this bottom lash, it's going to squeeze it all together and we're going to have ourselves a perfect fit. Alright guys, there you go. Check it out. I got my bushcraft all finished up now. I have my top lash and my bottom lash. It sucked all the wood together, bearing that nail inside, and we are ready to go. Now, to finish this thing up, if you want to make this really, really sharp, you can get out your sharpening stone and sharpen up that nail to a nice sharp point. And then you can always just take a little piece of soft wood and stick it over the top to keep that thing protected so it's not poking stuff in your bag and everything like that. And you have yourself a nice piece of bushcraft gear you can always carry along. And if you do, like I said earlier, you forget your awl and you need to repair something, now you know how to make one, as long as you got those nails with you. So if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out over at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our gear that we make, the blog, all our classes, all that good stuff. And then that's about it. So go out, have a good time making one of these, and until next video, stay in the woods.